Well, hey there, and how in the world wide web are you? I am so excited to be here. I am Kevin Colby with kevincolby.com, and today on the show, we're going to be talking about something that I actually love. It's cameras. You know, something you kind of need to live stream and do video, cameras. Now, audio's important, lighting's important, but today we're going to be talking about cameras on our show. Specifically, what are some of your options? Now, the cool thing is every camera I talk about today works with Ecamm Live. And by the way, this show is powered by Ecamm Live. The absolute, positively, pinky promise, it's a broken pinky. It's fixed though. Best app you can have for a Mac to live stream with and do other things with. I've used it to do screen recordings. I've used it just to record videos. I did something the other day, used it. It is absolutely amazing. If you want to try it out, 14 days free. You don't even need a credit card just for that. There's a link down in the description. Speaking of Ecamm Live, today we're going to do something fun. I'm going to give away a free 1-year subscription to Ecamm. What? Yes. But here's how we're going to do it. You get to come on the show live and play a trivia game. It's a game that I'm calling 3 for Free. I'll tell you more about it later. Be watching. I'll tell you how to join. We're only going to play one person, so you get them right or you don't. One of those things. But if you get the questions right, you can win. So at some point in the show, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to join me live. I'll give you a link to join me live on the show. How about that? We'll be using the Ecamm interview feature. By the way, if you are new to this, please subscribe to either my channel or Ecamm. We're multicasting this every Friday now at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So whether you're watching live or on the playback, drop a comment and say, hey, here's who I am and where I'm watching from. Would love to reach out. And then if you have any other questions or anything like that. So if you were watching last week and you asked a question at any point in the show and I kind of blew it off, I apologize. So what happened is I got so wrapped up into it and then people were asking questions near the end and I just completely forgot to go back and look. So since we are multicasting this on again, my channel and Ecamm Live's channel, I don't really know where the questions and the comments are coming from. So if you have a question at any point, just please type question or Q, and that way I kind of know as I glance at it, and we'll try and get to any questions if we have time at the end of the show. How about that? So today we're talking about cameras and everything like that. This is Behind the Live. So this is a little show I do with Ecamm Live, and like I mentioned earlier, it is powered by Ecamm Live, and later in the show I'm going to give you a chance, especially if you're watching live, to win a 1-year free subscription to Ecamm Live. If you just can't wait, check out the link in the description and try Ecamm Live for 14 days free. It is the bomb, as them youngins say. But this is a show we do every week, and the whole purpose of this show is to help you, maybe get into live streaming, get comfortable with it. That's why we call it Behind the Live, so we can just show you some of the other things that you can do with it, because a lot of folks get scared about live streaming, and you shouldn't be. And if you're new to my channel, my whole thing is about helping you with video so you can share your gifts and make an impact in the world. Again, that sounds like something you want to subscribe to, do that. So one of the questions I want to ask you right now, and you can drop this in the comment. We've got some folks already dropping in. Megametros, Pepper Tree Villa. How's it going? Thanks for being here. Remember to say hi if you're popping in. What camera do you use to live stream? Now, this is assuming that you're already live streaming. And if you're not, you need to... I just realized I had a nasty old box right back there. Right there. Sorry, I should have done a little tidying up before the show. But last week's show was about why you should be live streaming. So I'll make sure there's a link to that either down in the comments or the description. I would invite you to go back and watch that. If you're not live streaming, it's something to consider. But what camera are you using to live stream? That's one of the things we're talking about, but let me know what you're using and drop that down in the comments, and we'll talk about that. Mega's saying Logitech 750p webcam. 720. You know, I was like, I haven't even heard of that. Yeah, Logitech 720 webcam. That's what I've got. Actually, I've got the what is it? The C920, which maybe 720. We'll see about that. So, but we're talking about cameras now. When you get into live streaming and things like that, there are some things that I think you should consider when you're talking about getting a camera. So let's break these down. I've got them broken down into budget, experience, location, and setup. Here's what I mean. Budget. You want to be very, very careful about chasing trends. Now, this is in my humble opinion, which is also based on somewhat experience. You want to be very careful about chasing trends and a lot of gurus who say you've got to have this camera. I'm going to show you in a few minutes on a really cool trick that I could do in Ecamm, and you could too if you had Ecamm, of what all the different cameras look like. But consider your budget. So what am I saying by that? If you are strapped on cash or you're just starting out, one of the worst questions I see a lot is like, hey, I want to get a camera. What should I get? Well, what's your budget? Do you have $100? Do you have $300? Do you have $500? Do you have $5,000? If you have $5,000, give me a call. So you need to know what your budget is, because you also want to get a microphone. Doesn't have to be cheap. I mean, it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. And you want to get some kind of lights or something like that, but you need to factor that in there. So if, let's say you've got $500 to spend, which is okay, nothing wrong with that, then if you spend $400 on a camera, you see what I mean? So you need to think about what your budget is. And the second one is your experience level. I almost put comfort level up there, so we'll kind of combine that too. Now, this is not to say that you cannot grow and learn. Look, I've been doing what I do for a long time. I feel like I'm really good at it, and yet I know that there's people out there that are even better, and that's okay. I joke with people. I say, I don't know that I can technically tell you how to use a camera, but I can creatively tell you how to use it. I know enough about cameras, right? But if you are just a beginner to live streaming and maybe even with gear, take that into consideration. I mean, do you want to get the fanciest camera out there that's got way more than you need that you're going to pay for? I'll give you a great example. So there's a client I'm working with right now, and he wants to do more and more and more interviews and sharing for his presentations and social media. And he said flat out, Kevin, because that's my name, Kevin, I don't want to learn how to edit. I want something basic. I would rather just use a webcam. And you know what? That's fine. So we're going to actually, he's picking up a second webcam just to have a backup and travel with, which I actually thought was pretty smart. And I think the webcam he's picking up is like $200 or something like that. So he doesn't want to, he said, look, I'm not a techie. I'm not a gear guy. He wants basic. There's nothing wrong with that. So consider that. Your location. What do I mean by that? Okay. So what's your space? Going back to this client, he has a very, very small space. Now, you may not know this because I've never done a tour here, but my office/studio is about 11 by 13. Used to be a bedroom. We converted it over, put floors down. I don't know if you heard that. But it's about an 11 by 13 space. I don't know what the depth is back there. I get some of that from my lens and the lighting. But what is your space? If you have a very, very tight space, then that will impact the type lens you have. That will impact your background and stuff like that. Look, you may just be live streaming from your kitchen counter, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. So, what is your location? And then secondly, what's your setup going to be? And here's what I mean. Are you going to get a camera and lock it down and never take it anywhere? Or my voice is changing a little. Are you going to want to go with it somewhere. So I have several different cameras. Including, so the one I'm going to show you all this in just a minute. My main live streaming camera is called an M200. Cool little camera. It's about this big, and it's mounted on what I call a Manfrotto magic arm right behind my monitor. And I think I showed this in one of the other videos, and I'll probably be showing that in some other videos. So it's mounted, it's hooked up to a dummy battery, and it has a HDMI coming out of it. So it ain't going anywhere. I don't plan on taking it off and taking it anywhere. It's there. I also have this M50. I had two, sold one. This is a Canon M50. It's not focusing. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. Beautiful camera. I had a white one and a black one. Sold the black one. Come on now, focus. There we go. But I've live streamed with this one and love it. But I also keep this on a tripod, and sometimes I'll just shoot around the office with that. Then I also got this camera the other day. So this one I'm going to try out hopefully next week. This is a Canon M6 Mark II. See if it'll focus on that. Brand new. Look at that. I haven't even put a lens on it. It's brand new. It's got a flip-up screen. A little different as opposed to, if you're not familiar with the M50, which is a phenomenal camera, it's got the flip-out screen. A little different. But I wanted a camera that was something more than a webcam and a FaceTime camera for that I could keep mounted. So that's what I mean by your setup. Because, I mean, you can take a webcam with you anywhere. Remember the client I was talking about? He's gonna get a second webcam he can travel with and have as a backup. Now, if he needs that, but he wants it, that's okay. So you want to always think about, again, your budget, your experience, your location, and your setup. Because if you are going to what I call lock a camera down, maybe one of those things you just, that's, that determines what you spend. That determines how you set it up. I think I mentioned how big my office is. There's not enough depth in my mind to put a tripod behind it. Plus, I'm short. I don't know if you can tell it. I'm short. So it's barely shooting over my monitor. And I know I showed this in another video where we were talking about camera positioning, right? But that is something to think about. So now, let me see. Some of the folks are saying, Ben is saying he has a 70D. That's a good camera. I used to have a 70D. I started with a 60D, went to a 70D. Let me see. Who else is here? Queen Bee's saying M50. Got it. Love the M50, folks. What else? Narasa Films is saying EOS R. Very nice. Is it Cesar? Did I get that right? Working radio, Logitech C920. But then they got a Hitachi VZ HD 365. Oh, wait, that's a lot. Hey, and you're from Mexico. Hola. That's all I got. Sorry. I think that was high, wasn't it? I think it was. Thank you all guys for being here. And again, if you have a question, drop question or Q and drop it in, and if we have time, we'll get to it later. And did I tell you? We're going to have somebody live on the show here in just a little bit to play a game for a chance to win a free 1-year subscription to Ecamm. If you want to play, I'm going to give you the link in just a minute to get to that. So let's talk about different types of cameras. The types of cameras for live streaming. And what's really cool is all of these cameras work with Ecamm. So you've got your FaceTime camera. That's what I call the camera that's built in to your desktop or your laptop. We'll talk. Actually, I'm going to show you an example of all of these, except for the GoPro in just a second. So that's a FaceTime camera. So if you were, I didn't list these in. Well, maybe it's in preference, but if you flipped it to I hate to say worst, but if you go from worst to best option, maybe least best. How about that? FaceTime camera's one. Another one would be a webcam. Ain't nothing wrong with a webcam at all. A webcam is better than a FaceTime camera. But you can go live from all of these. Another one's a smartphone, or as I like to say, an iPhone. And that's one of the ones that you can go live from. And again, all of these work with Ecamm. It's just cool. A GoPro action camera. Now, Full disclosure, I have had I've had 3 GoPros in my life. I had a GoPro, what did I have? A 5, and sold it, and then bought it, and then thought, ooh, I really need one. Bought a 6, sold it, and then I thought, oh, that was stupid. So I bought a 7, and then sold it. I actually made a profit on the 7. And the funny thing is, GoPros are great. I'm not a fan of GoPros because I got fat little fingers, and it's hard for me to use. But you can live stream. I think Brian Fanzo live streams. iHeart Social Media. I think his camera. I think his camera of choice for live streaming is a GoPro, and I know that they've got the new GoPro, and they keep getting better and better and better. So I don't have that to show you. And I also said action camera because I used to have a Canon G7X Mark III small camera, and it had a clean HDMI out. Ain't that just crazy? And then you've got DSLR mirrorless. So, and there is a slight difference. Like who mentioned a few minutes ago that they had the 70D. 70D is a DSLR. The Canon M50 is a mirrorless. This camera right here that I just picked up, the M6 Mark II, is a mirrorless camera. The M200 is a mirrorless camera. It's the difference in the working parts and things like that. Plus, you can do some other things with it. We got some other folks saying, oh yes, thanks for confirming that Olaf means hi. Sony A6400, very good camera. Sony mirrorless DSLR, 1080p webcam. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So now I'm going to show you something here, and I'm going to show you the difference. I haven't dialed any of these in. But, so right now, this camera is an M200. I think I got it refurbished. You can get some great deals on Amazon for 400 something. I know it was under 500. It did come with a lens, came with a 15 to 45 lens, but I'm using the Sigma 16 millimeter lens, which is one of my absolute favorite lenses. That's how you get this blurred background. Just phenomenal lens. But let's bring in the FaceTime camera. Now, again, I haven't set up either camera, and this is going to get a little awkward, guys, at some point, because it's like, which one do I look at? But if you notice already, there's a slight, at least on my screen, you tell me there's a slight lag. Are you seeing a slight lag in the FaceTime? So like if I do this, it's kind of a little blurred. And then the tint of it. Now, you can go in and adjust the FaceTime camera about this much. It tops out at 720p. And, we could get into 720, 1080p, 4K. For example, if you're live streaming to Facebook, unless you're a gamer, I just found this out the other day, unless you're a gamer, they're gonna cap you at 720p. What? Yep. So here's what I mean. You can be pushing 4K video, and the most it'll ever get is 720p. The most it's ever going to get is 720p. Ain't that crazy? So Queen Bee saying slight lag. Yeah, it is just a little. By the way, we'll get to that in just a minute. So anyway, so there's the FaceTime camera. You notice it's like it's just off color. But what if I bring my webcam in? So now I have the webcam Logitech C920. I bought it, I think, goodness, 5 years ago. And I bought it for like $50 when it was brand new. And here's the other thing too. Remember earlier I said budgets? So when it's starting to feel like what a fly sees. When the pandemic hit and everything like that, all of a sudden the Logitech, which is a great webcam, got higher and higher and higher. And at some point, this one I have, the C920, this one right here, they were selling for over $200. I saw it the other day for like $79, $89, and that's about where it should be. The other thing is too, it's going to be hard to buy cameras for investments. I mentioned that I sold a GoPro and made a little extra on it. Yeah, well, you got to be careful with that because it's really hard to. I mentioned that I've got an M50. I bought this M50 when it first came out, and I got a decent deal on it. But now the M50s, because there's supposedly there's an M50 Mark II coming out, which I got really excited about until I saw the specs and thought, really? Really? But now these things are up around 600-700. So when you're buying a camera, here's a buying tip. Do your research and see, because some places get all jacked up. Like you may think you can get a good deal on eBay, but a lot of times people are jacking up the prices there. So like, for example, if you can buy the Canon M50 right now, let's say for $650, I'm making that up. Let's say $700, and you go on eBay and somebody's selling it on there for $800, don't buy it. Look for Amazon or B&H or somewhere like that. But my second M50 that I sold just a few weeks ago, I bought the body only. I didn't need the lenses. That saved me a chunk of change, and I got it for like 400 and something. And this camera, the M6 Mark II, I found. Now this camera will sell anywhere from $700 to $800. I found it for under $700 at a legit retailer in somewhere in New Jersey, and didn't come with a lens, brand new. So you got to look around, and this camera is already selling for $700 or $800. So you got to think about that. All right, so we talked about this. Now, ready? Oh, look at that! He's got multicam going on. So this now is my smartphone. Where am I looking? This is my smartphone right here. I hope this isn't messing you guys. So this is my smartphone. So right now in the quadrant, you've got the M200, you've got the FaceTime camera, you've got the webcam, and you've got my iPhone. Now, my iPhone, so if you notice something with the M200 and the iPhone, there's nothing on the screen. We call this a clean HDMI out. I could show you here in just a second what it would look. I tell you what, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do something right here just for you guys, because I love you so much. All right, let me do this. All right, so I'm going to go back to this. All right, do you see on the iPhone, you see the counter at the top and the video and all that stuff down there. So what you do is I'll actually show it to you right here live. Dadgummit. I'm going to go over here. Oop, nope, I want that. I have this app called Shoot. And see what it's doing? It's kind of trying to find right there. Shoot is like a $4 app in the App Store, and it will give you a clean HDMI out. All I'm using is it's plugged in, this USB cable. Same thing with this. So the M50 does not have a clean HDMI out, but thanks to Ecamm, you can use your USB cable and it turns it into a webcam and gives you a clean HDMI out. Now, there's also the Canon Web EOS Utility Beta, or it's not beta anymore, that all does the same thing, except you don't want to use that with Ecamm because they don't like each other. Now, what's the difference between that and this camera and the M200? These have a clean HDMI out. This will actually shoot in 4K at 30 frames a second with a clean HDMI out, and the crop sensor, which is how it crops it in 4K, is not as bad as the M50. So that's one of the reasons I got this. Now you may say, well, dang Kevin, that's a lot to be spending for a webcam. Maybe it is, but there's other reasons I'm doing it too, because I do presentations and I also work with clients who want to see some options, and so I can show them different options. So let's go back to this. You see the difference. Now, let's see what you guys are saying. By the way, we got somebody from Spain. Wow, that's really cool. Somebody's saying the iPhone is the best quality. Queen Bee saying, fortunate enough to get a M50 with a 15 to 45 lens. And there's nothing wrong with the 15 to 45 lens. There's a lot of haters on it. It's called a kit lens. We say kit lens like there's something wrong with it. Nothing wrong with the kit lens. I've actually done client work with a kit lens. Aaron Garner, hey, my buddy, cool video. Thank you, buddy. iPhone quality is amazing, isn't it? I mean, I gotta say, so that's the reason I brought this up earlier. Of the things to think about is your budget and your experience level and your location and your setup. So if you can't afford a camera and you've got a FaceTime camera, don't let that stop you from live streaming, from sharing your gifts, from getting your story out there. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you can. Now, again, these are all different. Even my webcam, notice this, what I call kind of blown out a little. I didn't go in and tweak it earlier. So, and you can do all this in Ecamm. You can go into your camera controls and you can adjust the saturation and the gamma and all that other stuff. So, got somebody from Ireland and Germany. Sorry, I get distracted by geography. But anyway, I wanted to show you this. So, the question comes up, which is the best camera? So before I answer that, let me ask you a question. It's something I'm really looking forward to. So, would you like to win a free 1-year subscription to Ecamm? Now, right now, we're only playing this for folks watching it live. So if you're watching it on the replay, sorry you didn't have a shot at it. But hey, maybe you ought to watch the show live. Just saying, every Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, if you want a shot at playing, here's the link. So it's going to be one person. Go to that link, kevincolby.com/play3 for free. And when you get there, there's a link that will bring you into the live show. I'll see you pop up over in the interview window. So just sit tight. We're only going to play with one person. And you'll have a shot to play 3 for free and a chance to win a free 1-year subscription to Ecamm. So if you want to play, do that. And when you get there, just remember, you're going to be live. Make sure your mic's on, your camera's on. Don't say bad words. You don't have to fix your hair. That's fine. So if you would like to do that, we're going to talk for a little bit. I'm going to leave that up until I see somebody pop in, and we'll play that. We're going to try this. We have not tried this before. I didn't even test it, but we're going to see. We're going to see if it works, right? So let's get to the cameras again. All right. So what is your budget? What is your location? What is your setup? So for example, you have to have a camera to live stream. Hello. Can you live stream without Ecamm? Yeah, you can. You can go direct, but Ecamm is going to allow you to do a lot of different things like that. This is just a lower third I created in Ecamm that I brought in. So it's very, very simple. By the way, that's the link if you want to play. Still waiting on my first player. But the answer to what is the best. All right, we've got somebody in the green room. Can you hear me, sir? All right, I'll bring you in just a minute. Let me assign you to. There we go. So the camera is really going to be based on your needs, your budget, your location. Don't get caught up. Just don't get caught up in what is the best thing for somebody else as opposed to what is the best thing for you. All right? So, and if you had some questions and stuff like that, make sure you drop them in. We're going to play this little thing now. I see other people dropping in. We've got our first player. We're only going to play one time, but we're going to see how this works, okay? So, hang on here. Let's check out this brand new spiffy animation for the game. Ain't that just the thing? All right, so it says your name is Arnie.
Yes.
Arnie, where are you calling from? I'm sorry. I'm an old radio guy. So my first thing, where are you calling from? So Arnie, where are you?
I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area in California.
Excellent, excellent. So what's so time-wise, it's like 3 hours back?
Yeah, so right now it's about 10:30.
Excellent, excellent. And what is the weather like today?
Right now it's finally cooler. Here in the East Bay, it had been in the upper 80s, lower 90s, but now it's hovering around the high 70s, low 80s.
That's nice weather.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
So Arnie, this won't matter, but do you live stream?
I do.
Excellent, excellent. And what camera do you use?
We are actually currently using our built-in on the iMac, which is only 720p, and I'm not really pleased with the quality. I'd really like to get something a little bit higher end, so we're looking at our budget and seeing what we can afford.
Excellent. And, you know, I hope you heard me say earlier, you can really find some crazy deals shopping around. I mean, it is insane. This one, I don't mind. It's like Tri-State Computer and Cameras. Never even heard of them. They're legit. Their website looked like it was made about 20 years ago. That's not a rag on them, but they took my money and the camera got here. So
that's all that matters.
Are you ready to play 3 for free?
I absolutely am.
And first of all, thank you for being our first inaugural 3 for free guest. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you 3 general knowledge trivia questions, pulled totally at random from the World Wide Web, so we know they're true. If you can get all 3 correct, you're going to win a 1-year subscription to Ecamm. How does that sound?
That sounds amazing.
But if you miss one of them, we're going to give you some Ecamm swag. How about that?
Okay.
Like a t-shirt or something like that, so you can wear it around and say, hey, look, you know, I'm still a winner, because you're a winner. All right, you ready to play? Here we go. Question number 1. What city does Batman live in?
Batman lives in Gotham.
That is correct. By the way, I'm a huge Batman fan. If you had said Metropolis, I'd have hung up on you and just gone to the next person. I'm just joking. I wouldn't have done that. That'd have been horrible. That'd have been absolutely horrible. That's right. So you are 1 for 1. All right, here we go. Question number 2. The New Orleans Saints play which sport?
Oh, they play football.
Yes. Very nice. Do you are you a football fan?
I am. I've got a really good friend who's a huge fan of the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, they got spanked the other night, didn't they?
Yeah, really hard.
I'm a huge Saints fan, so that's why.
You know, my nephew is too.
Arnie, you've got 2 right. The pressure's on. People are in the chat room. Well, I started to say they're saying Arnie, but nobody is. But I wanted to say that to make you feel better. All right, here we go. Question number 3. You ready?
I'm ready.
What is the tallest mammal?
The tallest mammal.
I'm not going to give you a hint, but it's not a trick question.
Okay, I will say the giraffe.
Oh, Arnie. It's the giraffe! You got them all right!
Oh my God. I really?
Yes, you did. You just won a 1-year subscription to Ecamm Live.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic!
Is that not cool? So how are you feeling right now, Arnie?
I can't believe it. Oh, I am so excited right now.
Excellent. Well, do me a favor. Don't hang up, because I'm going to need to get some information from you. Okay. And if you do, I'll reach back out. But so let me ask you this about the interview. Was the whole interview process pretty easy when you went to the link and it walked you through it?
It is beyond easy. I've been using Ecamm for about 2 months now, and I would say it is probably the easiest platform to use for streaming, especially when you have guests. And now that you've got the interviews built in for beta, it's even easier.
Excellent. Well, listen, Arnie, you've been a delight. You have fun out in San Francisco. You hang tight, and we'll wrap up here in just a minute. I'll get your information, but congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Sure. All right, so I've got to let me mute Arnie. He's jumping up and down and screaming in the background. That was fun. So, did you enjoy that? Let me drop over here and see. Shelly Saves the Day saying, hey, Shelly Saves the Day, a phenomenal channel, and we've got to connect a little here and there and stuff like that. And Shelly, I'll give Shelly a plug. She just published, correct me if I'm wrong, I think her very first online course on iMovie editing. So there you go. Free plug. I expect a discount. Yes, and so folks are saying congratulations, Arnie. So one of the things I would love to do more and more on this show is have you guys on so we can talk, we can ask questions about just different cameras and things like that, different behind the live. Whatever we can do to help you do more with video and live video would be great. So just to recap what we were talking about today, what is the best camera for going live? You need to think about your budget. You need to think about your location, meaning space. You need to think about your setup. Do you want something like permanent? Do you want something to go with you? And and what's your comfort level? I mean, look, not the Arnie. I know you're still back there because I need you, but Arnie said, well, all we've got is I think the laptop. But that's fine. That's fine. I do think over time, if you can get a webcam, that's good. If you can get a smartphone, that's even better. And if you can get a DSLR or mirrorless, you'll see, well, I'll go to this again. You're going to see the difference in the 4, right? And again, my M200 is dialed in. I don't know what this is. It's dialed in for my broadcast. FaceTime I didn't touch. Webcam I could have tweaked a little, and my iPhone is just strictly like what is there. Somebody's asking a question. You know what? I said I would get to those. Let me get to that right now. Turtleflow is saying, how is the iPhone connected? The iPhone is connected literally by this cable. Actually, you know what? Duh. I can show you. Hello. Right there. That's how it's connected. So I've got it on a switch pod, a little bracket, and in a future show, we're going to talk about gears and gadget, things that I use and have that I would highly recommend. There's you. Look at that. That's you looking at you. You can kind of see the setup right there, and it is it's on the wrong side. It's literally just a USB coming off of the lightning thing, and I'm using an app called Shoot Clean Camera Feed. $4, $5. Now, I've also learned that you can use Filmic Pro app, has a clean HDMI feed, and that'll dial in. That'll turn your iPhone into like a DSLR mirrorless. You can adjust aperture, you can adjust shutter. It's got effects. It's really cool. It costs more, but you have to decide that. Gears and gadget. Yes. Pepper Tree is saying that gears and get out of that would be good. Yeah, that's one of the things we want to cover, are just little things that can help you live stream and do video. Now, here's the cool thing. Almost everything I use to live stream, I can also use for just video creation too. So I'm a big believer in, you can call it cheap, but I'm a big believer in saving money where I can, maybe reusing things. Again, the M200 that I'm using to live stream right now was refurbished off Amazon, which comes with a sick warranty. This body only saved me probably $100 or $200, and just shopping around on Google saved me probably another $100 or $200 off of what, I mean, it's crazy what some of these cameras cost. So consider your budget, consider where you're going to go live, consider the camera you want, but by all means, get out there and go live. So, see if we have any questions coming in. Shelly's saying I can have the discount. I love that. This will really help our live streaming. I appreciate that. So simple. Thank you. If you guys have any questions, if you ever have any other comments past this, you're watching on the replay, drop a comment in. We always go back in and answer them. And please remember to hit subscribe just to show your love and the support for the channel. This is Behind the Live. I'm Kevin Colby. Remember to create something today that'll make an impact tomorrow. See you next time. Peace out.